Great. Good day, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending where you are calling from. Let me turn on my video so that those that might not have seen me before would have the opportunity of seeing me. Am I visible? Good. I think I am now, right? Great. So I want to welcome everybody here. My name is Michael Boyo, founder here at MB Consult. It is my privilege to have you all on this call. I do not take it for granted when people join, because you could be doing a million and one other things, but you've taken it upon yourself to be here. So I want to appreciate that. This week's session is actually a response to the community based on one of our surveys that we had done recently, where everybody was talking about AI, and I think everybody is talking about AI on a global scale. Now, even though I may not be an expert in AI, right? And I don't think there's an expert because it's evolving by the day. But I just felt, okay, let's just talk about it, at an introductory level, and then we can start layering on our learnings as we go on within the community. And that's what we are going to be doing here today. So this is very introductory, and even at that, there's a lot to cover. So that's why I said let's just get straight into it, and hopefully, we'll be able to gain something at the end of the day. So let's go. So again, very quickly, if you are yet to join any of social media touch points, these are QR codes that you can easily scan on your screen right now on your phone. I want to urge you that if you are yet to join any of these social media touch points, like I said, join the online community. I think everybody here is in the WhatsApp group already. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, watch, and share the videos, and then also follow us on LinkedIn. Again, if you haven't, please spend time while I have this on for about another 15 seconds. Just scan and then just join. That's all. It's just a click, 2 or 3 clicks, you are done. And I believe that that will continue to help us to grow the community. Now, having said that, let's quickly jump into this. Now, I don't know, for those of you that may not know me, this is just a very, very quick introduction. Again, my background is computer science and engineering from Abefemi Owalo University. I have a master's in internet systems and development from University of Portsmouth in the UK. I'm privileged to have lived, schooled, and worked in 3 continents to date: Africa, Europe, and North America. I consider myself a multidisciplinary IT specialist with domain knowledge in project management, business analysis, and QA, all at enterprise level. And very recently, I also consider myself an AI enthusiast. I won't say I'm an AI expert by a long shot. I'm still an enthusiast. 25 years post-qualification cognitive work experience. In terms of technology, I've worked on these platforms: ADP, HP, IBM, Microsoft, Oracle, SAP, Salesforce, UKG, Workday. These are just, a host of technologies I've been opportune to work on. In terms of certifications, huge on Salesforce, Azure, CBA, business analysis, CCNA, networking, ISTQB, software testing, IT infrastructure library, Prince2 practitioner, safe, scaled, agile for scaled framework for enterprise. I'm into all that. So as you can see, I've been around for a while. I'm also a co-founder and a managing partner at RYD Learning. This is a kids platform where we, coach kids to onboard them to tech, age 7 to 16. And very recently, I started this professional mentorship and coaching platform. So that's just a bit about me. And we're not here to talk about me, apparently. So in terms of agenda, again, it's supposed to be introductory, but there's a lot to unpack, right? We're looking at, intro, definition, key concepts, historical background, AI in everyday life. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's just dive straight into it, right? So when we talk about introduction to AI, at this point, if you don't mind, let me go off video so that, we just focus. Okay. So when we talk about AI, what are we talking about? So artificial intelligence, in my opinion, refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines, allowing them to perform tasks that are typically required by human intellect. So what does that really mean? Think about that for a minute, right? So we're saying artificial, and that's why it's called artificial, right? So human intelligence is not artificial, right? We're not artificial. We are human. We are natural, right? So you imagine whatever you do. You get up in the morning, you plan your day, you go to work, you do whatever you want to do. Now the question is, can we get something else to do what you do, and that person, and that thing is not human? It's artificial. That means it was made by a human. That's what artificial means, right? It's artificial. Like, okay, you have an orange, a real orange that you can pluck on the tree. That's a natural orange. But you can also have a decorative aesthetic orange that you can put on the table. What do you call that? It's artificial. But is it as good as it gets compared to the natural? Yes. But is it the same as the natural? The answer is no, right? So that's why it's called artificial. So is it intelligent? Yes. But is it natural? No. It's artificial. That's what we are saying, that it refers to the simulation. So that's where we're talking about it's a semblance, it's a replica, it's a close match, but it's not, right? And that's the race we are running against time. That artificial intelligence is running that race to match up with natural intelligence. And there's another concept in that, which is called AGI. We'll talk about it a little bit. Artificial general intelligence. That's the ultimate, that's the penultimate, right? To have artificial intelligence that you won't be able to distinguish between both of them. But what exactly are we saying, right? When we talk about artificial intelligence is rapidly evolving, and it focuses on creating intelligent machines capable of performing tasks typically requiring human intelligence. So it is machine versus man. And when I say man, I mean boy, girl, man, woman, right? So this is like, and that's why people are always thinking that, oh, would AI replace me? It's debatable. I'm not going to say flat out yes, neither will I say flat out no. It's debatable. But that is actually the race when machine will be able to, do things like human. Now, we're going to be looking at key concepts within AI. And again, these are all introductory. There's what we call machine learning, neural networks, deep learning. These are all essential concepts for you to even grasp what artificial intelligence is all about. So AI is not a single technology. No, it's not. But a broad field encompassing various subfields and approaches. The goal of AI, or as it were, is to simulate human intelligence in machines, enabling them to learn, reason, and solve problems. That's the goal. Are we going to achieve that goal? I don't know. Only time will tell, right? AI systems are designed to learn from experience, adjust to new inputs, and perform human-like tasks. You will keep on seeing there's always the comparison between machine and man. That's always the comparison, right? And there are so many tasks that you can think about. So in your head, you can start thinking about whatever you do. You decided to join this call. Can you do that using artificial intelligence? Yes. There's a note taker on this call right now that one of the participants on this call has added to this call. And what's the note taker doing? The note taker is listening to me, is going to listen to you if you say anything, and that note taker is going to write the summary of this meeting. Is that not intelligent? Is it natural? Is it human? No. But is it intelligent? Yes. Most likely that note taker will summarize this meeting than all of us combined would be able to do it. Because it's a machine, it's a software, it's an app. It's not going to miss on anything. There's nothing like, oh, it was when I went to take a cup of coffee. That was when Michael mentioned it. That's never going to happen. It's going to be there all the time because it's not natural. It doesn't take a break. It doesn't go for bio break. Nothing like that, right? So that's what we are saying. It is important to note, however, that while AI aims to mimic human intelligence, it starts from a different foundation than human intelligence. So what we're saying is that where AI starts from, and that's why even up until very recently, it wasn't called AI. It was just literally called machine learning. Just machine learning, that, oh, machine is doing something. It was when man started realizing that, wait a minute, if a machine can play me against me on a game of chess, that means the machine is intelligent. And then the concept of artificial intelligence started coming up, right? But let's keep going. How does it do this? Again, these are just introduction. AI systems are designed to learn from data and adapt their behavior based on new information and experiences. AI is only as good as the information it has access to. So imagine a child. You give. So let's look at these two paradigms. You give birth to a child. You start learning. You start making a machine learn. Both of them can grow together. What am I saying? The human being is being exposed. Why do you think a child by nature will speak the language of those around him or her, regardless? So if me as a Nigerian, if I was born in China and my parents are speaking Chinese, what do you think I will grow up speaking? Even at an early age of about 18 months or 2 years, I'm going to be speaking Chinese. It doesn't matter whether the parents were both Nigerians. It doesn't matter, because that is the input data that is coming to that human. The same thing with the machine. It is the data, the input that you put in the machine that the machine learns. And it can only do whatever it's doing based on that data, based on the experiences, based on the learning that the machine is exposed to. The machine cannot give you what it doesn't have. However, as we will see later in the presentation, there's what we are now saying, that the machine should be able to come up with inferences. And that's where AGI comes in, artificial generaling. So that means you don't even need to feed the computer, but the computer will just come up with something. That's completely different. That's the ultimate goal of AI. That maybe at that point, it won't even be called AI anymore. It will just be called intelligence, because you won't be able to decipher whether it's artificial or natural. That's the ultimate goal of AI. Decision making. There are a lot of times we take decisions. AI works basically on patterns, trends, data. If all you do every morning is to choose between a black or a blue shirt to wear to go to work, AI can do it for you. There are only two inputs, black and white. On Monday, you will choose black. Tuesday, choose white. Wednesday, choose black. You don't need to do that anymore. So you can have an AI device or anything that just brings the shirt to you in the morning and just say, sir, wear this shirt. You don't need a rocket science to do that for you, right? So we are just looking at, introductory. It's important to note, however, that in as much as the starting point of AI and human intelligence is different, it has its advantage for AI and it has its limitation. So advantage is that all those repetitive tasks that has a definitive pattern, you can just leave them to AI. And that's why even though we're not going to be talking about tools here today, but that's where all those productivity tools come in. Why do I have to be taking pen on paper to be writing the summary of this call? Or why do I have to go back and watch this video so that I can write a summary of this call? And that's why there's a tool that can do that, because it's just basically taking information in and doing something with that information. The machine is not writing anything new. It's just taking what you've given it and it's summarizing it. Okay. Historical background of AI. Somebody were to ask you, and let me ask you here. Can anybody tell me, when do you think AI started coming into the horizon? Does anybody know? As in this whole hype, when do you think it started? So let me go back to the chat and let's see. Yeah? Anyone? You can unmute and speak. If someone were to ask you, when did AI start? What would be your response? No one? Interesting.
I think it started a few years ago.
Few years ago. That's fair. Someone said in the 60s or 70s. Were you alive then, Mrs. Mentor Olu? Were you alive? Started in the 60s or 70s. Okay. Close.
I would say long time ago in Bethlehem.
Okay, I'm not even going to comment to that. Okay. Anyways, let's go back to the presentation. So AI has a rich history dating back to the mid 20th century, right? When pioneering researchers began exploring the possibility of creating machines that could think. The evolution of AI has seen various waves of interest and funding, leading to significant breakthroughs. and advancements in technology. Now, the history of AI is marked by waves of enthusiasm and progress, followed by periods of reduced funding and interest, often referred to as AI winters. Now, in terms of timeline, the concept of AI began in the mid 20th century, like I said, when researchers began to create a machine. Now, if we want us to be specific, the term artificial intelligence was coined in 1956 at the Dartmouth Conference, marking the field's official beginning. It was in 1956 that early researchers, right, in the likes of Alan Newell and Herbert Simon, they created a program that was called the General Problem Solver. And all that program was doing was to solve simple puzzles and, achieve certain tasks, showcasing the potential of machines to mimic human problem solving abilities. It was just to solve human problems, as in basic human problems. So that was in 1956. They made the program in 1959. Now, in the 80s, someone said 60s and 80s. In the 80s, we saw a rise of expert systems, which mimicked human decision making specific tasks possible by machines. In the 90s and 2000s, machine learning gained prominence, leading to significant breakthroughs in various applications. Now, like I said, AI has experienced several waves of interest, but it has only evolved because based on the funding that has been available. Up until like in the 90s, there was very limited funding, and that's why it didn't make the news so much. But it's not that it wasn't there, it had always been there. Like I said, the term artificial intelligence was coined in 1956 at the Dartmouth Conference, making its debut. And in 2008, very recently, the FDA approved the first AI-powered diagnostic device that can detect diabetic retinopathy without the need for a physician to interpret the results. Again, don't forget, AI just massages, manipulates data that it is given. AI doesn't necessarily produce data. Now, that's the next level, and that is something completely different. That is AGI, when AI is going to start generating its own data without a knowledge base, right? That's something completely different. So we are talking about AI now coming into our day-to-day lives, in healthcare, and we'll look at some of those things, In 1997, IBM's Deep Blue chess computer defeated the world champion, Gary Kasparov, marking a significant milestone in AI's ability to compete with humans. Again, why do you think an AI machine can play chess? It will have been programmed with all the multiple moves that you can make in a chess game. So it's not like as if it's thinking that, oh, no. No, it just knows all the manipulations, and all those will have been put into whatever program or whatever that is being used to play that game. So it's not like as if, oh, he's just going to quickly remember now that, oh, okay, they didn't teach me this one, let me play this way. No, AI will never do that. AI would only do anything based on the data that is made available to it. Now, types of AI. I don't know whether we've learned about this. There's narrow AI and there's general AI. What do we mean by narrow AI? AI can be categorized into two. So there's narrow AI, which addresses specific tasks, like virtual assistants. Can anybody give me an example of a virtual assistant? So that I want us to start beginning to conceptualize, so that I'm not just talking. When I say virtual assistant, does any example come to mind?
Yeah, maybe figures.
What do you mean by figures, ma?
Uh, like is when you instruct the AI, for example, children playing on the football field,
Okay. So are you
or
talking about a game on a phone now? Is that what you're talking about? Or real life kids playing on on the football? Real
real
life.
life play. Yeah.
Okay, real life play. No, I would
Sorry,
let.
what about this Alice that talks a computer that will just be talking to you? Maybe it's 10 o'clock, it's 1 o'clock, or you
Okay,
pick a
that's
call and
yeah,
it's somebody talking to you.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So, how many times have you tried to connect with any modern 21st century organization and you are actually being attended to by something that is not a human being, right? I still did it
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
So you want to book and you want to book a flight, you want to rent a car, and you are
At the
trying to find
hospital.
exactly. Those are chatbots, bots if you want to call them. It's not chatbot, bots. So you go on, on an airline website, somebody is there to say, "How may I help you?" You go on a university website, "How can I help you?" That's a virtual assistant because we can't be paying for that customer service rep to just sit down and be answering questions like, so how many flights do you have? How many cookies do you have? How many balls do you have? How many? No, no, no. We can just build a bot that will query a database and return the results. That's a virtual assistant. That's narrow AI. It's within a specific scope, very specific, narrow AI. And you can even make it as narrow as you want. So a friend of mine, we were, reviewing an AI app recently that was for a specific task. And then we said, and I now said, can you ask it to do something that is completely outside the scope of what we are talking about? And we put something there. You know what that app returned? It said, I'm sorry, I cannot respond to you with regards to the question you asked. I can only respond to you with regards to XYZ, the thing the app was meant to do. That's as narrow as it can get. You can make it that narrow. You can make an AI tool to just respond to legal questions. If you ask it a question on medicine, it's going to tell you, sorry, I can't answer that question for you. I can only answer questions related to documents, legal, blah, blah, blah. It will tell you, it will respond. Now, other narrow AI apps are like your Siri at home, your Alexia. Can you really? Is narrow. You may think it's wide. There are things you will ask at least Alexia, and Alexia will tell you, sorry, I do not understand. Or sorry, I do not have a response to that. Oh, sorry, I cannot tell you because I do not know. It's narrow AI. It doesn't know everything, right? So that's what we are saying. Now, it is crucial to understand that there are different types or levels of AI capabilities today, but we'll focus on these two, which is the narrow and the general. And like I was saying, what are examples of the narrow AI? Virtual assistants like Siri, Alexia, your Google assistant. You can ask Google, Google, what's the weather? What do you think Google is doing? You really think Google knows the weather? Oh my goodness. Google is just connecting via an API call to a weather server to get to that information. And when he receives that information, he's going to say, oh, thank you, Michael. The weather in Edmonton today is 21 degrees with chances of snow, flurries, and cloudiness. He got that information from a knowledge base. Google Assistant doesn't know anything. If that information is not available to it, it will tell you, oh, sorry, I do not have, or I cannot answer, or I don't know what you are talking about. Can you repeat the question again? Do you know that even at times when you tell Google Assistant to play you a music and you don't have like Spotify access, you don't have YouTube Premium, it will tell you, oh, I'm sorry, I do not have access to a free version of that music, so I cannot play it. Have you not heard that before? Because it's not in its data repository. It's narrow, right? So that's what we are saying. Narrow AI is also called weak AI. It's also called weak AI. Is designed to perform specific tasks. with a limited context. They excel in their designated functions, but cannot perform outside their programmed parameters. They were programmed to do that. They dominate the current world of AI. Because even when we start, I don't want to go into ChatGPT and all that. We're not even there yet. But if we want to even go into it for a minute, let me ask you a question. If I open my ChatGPT for you right now, as I do almost every day, and I said, hey, buddy, how are you doing today? What do you think ChatGPT is going to respond? Can anybody tell me?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you?
I don't think so, ma.
It's going to ask you, thank you very much. Do you have anything you want me to do for you?
Absolutely correct. At times it will tell you, oh, Michael, I'm not human, so I don't have feelings. How may I help you today? That's what it's going to respond. So it doesn't have a response to that question in its true form because it's not part of the parameters. There's no way ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, it can never respond to you to say, I'm doing well to. No, it can't because it doesn't have a feeling. It's not human, it's machine. Except you program it to say, maybe it's now doing the work of a receptionist. You have to write in the script to say, when somebody greets you, to say, if in that text it says, hello, good day, how are you? They will give it a name, right? Oh, hi, Frank, how are you doing? Then you have to instruct that app to say, oh, I'm doing great. How are you doing? But ChatGPT is not custom. ChatGPT is for public use. So ChatGPT cannot write anything specific to to address 8 billion human beings on the planet. They wouldn't do that. But if somebody comes in to build you an app for your reception or for your front desk, and you want that app, when I call, to say, welcome to MB Consult, how may I help you? Oh, and you can even say, by the way, my name is Jane. How may I help you? I can now say, oh, hi, Jane. How are you doing today? I'm doing fine, thank you. It's going to say exactly what it was meant to say. If it wasn't programmed to say it, it will say, oh, sorry, I do not have a response to that. It's garbage in, garbage out because it's artificial. Okay, now, what are we saying? General AI. So image, so before I come to general, so recommendation systems like Netflix. When you go on Netflix, if you keep watching Nollywood movies on Netflix, what do you think Netflix will be suggesting to you? Chinese movies? Has that ever happened to you? No, because it's working based on patterns. It's going into the data fed into it, which is what has Michael been watching. Michael loves sci-fi movies. So Netflix will continue to do the algorithm will continue to suggest sci-fi movies to me. It's not because he has an hourglass somewhere or a crystal ball. No, it's all based on data. The same thing with Amazon. Why is it that if you go on Google right now, and my wife used to freak out before now, and you go and search for, let's say, for example, cameras, what do you think is going to happen the next time you open your email? There will be an advert from Amazon showing you cameras. How do you think that happened? You think it's magic? No, it's not magic. It's data driven. There's an app going around the internet collecting information about human behavior. And then the likes of Amazon or whatever, e-commerce platform has access into that repository. And they're able to realize that, oh, Michael is currently on Google looking at cameras. So that app on Amazon side collects that data. And the moment you open your email, because your email platform has given access to that same e-commerce platform to push ads to you, and that ad already knows that Michael owns this email, and on the sidebar of your email screen, there's a space for ads that somebody has paid for. So Amazon has collected that information, and Amazon will now say, based on that human behavior, I'm going to show you cameras. And then you start wondering, but I was just. It's even as bad that you are just having that conversation. You are at home with Google Nest. You are at home with Siri. You're at home with Alexia. They don't just speak, they listen as well. I hope you know that. They collect that information. If you're having that conversation at home and you're talking about cameras, the next time you open your email, you start seeing feed on cameras. It's not magic. It is just data-driven manipulations. That's artificial intelligence. There's not necessarily a human being involved, but a human being programmed it. Is that making sense? Now, but that's different from general AI. General AI aims to perform any intellectual task that a human can do, making it more advanced. And for now, it remains largely theoretical, because that's the ultimate aim of AI. Let's keep going. What are key artificial intelligence concepts? One, machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of AI that involves training algorithms to recognize patterns in data and make predictions. Now, even when you think AI is giving you something new, it's not. It's just because of the computing power that you feel like it's giving you something new, but it's just taking what you gave it to bring up something else. It's not going to work outside the parameters of what you give it. It allows systems to learn from experiences without being explicitly programmed, leveraging techniques like supervised and unsupervised learning. Right? So what are we saying? Let's kind of delve a little bit deeper into what machine learning is all about. Machine learning is a fundamental concept in AI that has revolutionized how we approach data analysis and decision making. Machine learning is very unique. Unlike traditional programming, where we explicitly define rules, machine learning algorithms are designed to identify patterns in data autonomously. And we'll dig a little bit deeper into that. Learning from data. Again, like I said, AI is all about learning from data, from experiences, and we can use that to improve performance. So again, if you tell ChatGPT, what is the day today? ChatGPT will just tell you it's Tuesday. Most likely, it won't say more than that, because that's what you asked. Or let's say today is Saturday. If you now say, oh, by the way, what are key events that happened today in history? Then ChatGPT will now say, okay, so today is Saturday, the 8th of February, 2025. So ChatGPT will now go, again, I'm just saying ChatGPT, it can be any AI user interface, will now go onto its own knowledge base and start looking at events that happened 8th of February every year from whenever to whenever based on what data it has access to. And it can come back and summarize that to you. Now, are you saying that it's technically giving you new information? To you, you may think that's the case, but it's literally giving you information that has been stored somewhere. It's not making it up. No, it's not. It doesn't even have that ability, right? So, but how do we help AI to learn from data? How do we do that? We do things like training. You can train an AI. And that's why even when you go to a country, you have translations now, as in Google Translator. You can literally converse with anybody in any language if you have the right translator app. What do you think is happening? So I'm speaking English, you are speaking Espanol. Yes, the Spanish guy doesn't understand English, the English guy doesn't understand Spanish, right? But we now have an app in between that can do the translation. I speak in English, it translates into Spanish. Again, based on the data available. Okay. Now, Techniques used. I talked about supervised and unsupervised learning. And this is something that can get us into ethical AI, but that's not what we are doing here today. When AI training is unsupervised, those have ethical considerations. Machine learning comprises of majorly two techniques for learning: the supervised and the unsupervised. The supervised is the approach where the algorithm is trained on labeled data. That means there's a deliberate attempt on what it is trained on, and hopefully is without bias. So let's give an example. If you want to know the impact of potable drinking water on humans, and then you are doing a study, but you're only doing that study based on Asians, is it supervised? Yes. But is it biased? Yes, as well. Your training data should not be biased. So, but what about unsupervised? What does that really mean? So let me give an example of supervised learning. For example, how do you think your emails, for example, some emails go into your spam folder? Why do you think that happens? Has anybody thought about that? And how does it happen? Are you the one that moved them into spam folder? You can unmute and talk. Have you ever thought about that? How come some emails end up in your spam folder? How come? You just think there's just one witch sitting somewhere and just doing it? Or a gate man somewhere that just decides, oh, okay, I'm going to throw you in the spam, I'm going to throw you in the inbox. Anyone? Because I'm not seeing the anyone. You ever thought about it?
I think if it's not a regular email that you receive often, it will go to spam
Yeah,
page.
that's fair. That's fair. Thank you, ma'am. That's fair. But just to keep going here, it's because there is a learned algorithm. The so I'm using the word AI freely. That Sorry, just a minute, Philip. That learned algorithm, that training must have. Okay, before I say mine, Philip, go ahead.
So I think, like, in line with what you're saying too, is like there's an algorithm built to scan through what's coming to your inbox.
Yep.
Maybe link. So there's like a given exception that, oh, there are some strange links, maybe there are some strange words. They are seeing some pattern of emails that have been reported to them.
Thank
There's
you.
also been a data from their own
Thank
end.
you.
So they trigger it that don't get to our user, take it to spam, because those kind of email are considered dangerous. So sometimes you
Correct.
just need to,
I agree with
that's
you
fine.
completely.
So
I agree with you
over
completely.
time is that database that speaks. So if I register for the first time, register maybe a Yahoo email, you already know some set of emails that goes out that are like not too viable for users. And maybe they've reported them. You see, there's a place they call report.
Correct.
And so they use that basis to flag
Absolutely.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. That was the kind of thing I wanted to explain. That there has been that learning. So it's called learning. Sometimes you can call it training. That's the training on labeled data, because that data is known. They will have put it, and so it's like as if you are doing an exclusion list. For those of us that are into a bit of tech and we do scripting, you have an exclusion list. I don't want to receive emails with this subject. You can do it in your Outlook and say, I want to do a filter. I don't want to any email with this title, put it in this folder. It's an algorithm. Those are the things that are working behind the scenes. Like Philip said, and the previous speaker too said that once that it meets that algorithm, it just goes to spam. It's training. And it's only go to spam based on the training. And that's why, again, have you seen even legitimate emails going to spam? Has anybody seen them? As in, emails that somebody sent you and you say you never received it, and you start looking. At the end of the day, it was in the spam folder. So what happened? How did it end up in the spam folder? Legitimate email. Yeah, just say it, man. It's what you are thinking. It's AI. It's not human. It's AI. The email, peradventure, had something that was in the algorithm. But AI is not going to check that, oh, this mail is from Philip, my friend. No, AI doesn't know Philip. AI doesn't know Philip is my friend. No, AI doesn't know that. AI just sees the email. And based on the training it has, it's like, no, this email is going to spam. But somebody now calls and I sent you an email, check your spam folder and you find it there. Those are called hallucinations. When AI misses the mark. And then all we can do is to tweak the model until we can get better results. Okay? Let's keep going. Neural networks and deep learning. What is neural networks? The word neural is taken from brainwave. Neural networks are inspired by the human brain and consist of layers of interconnected nodes. So what are we saying? Our brain is the most complex body. When I mean body, like when you say body of knowledge, complex body that we human have ever seen, the brain. So what AI is also trying to do is to mimic the way the brain works. It is node to node, neuron to neuron. And that's why anything that occurs to you in your body can be traced back to somewhere in your brain. If there's something happening on the left side of your body, it can be traced back to something specific in your brain. Even your toenail, if there's something wrong with a specific toenail, it can be traced back with due diligence and expertise. It can be traced back to something or somewhere in your brain. And that's what AI has also mimicked. And that's what they call neural networks. It's inspired by the human brain. What about deep learning? Deep learning is when you now layer those neural networks. And that's why it's called deep. When you utilize neural network with many layers enabling sophisticated tasks like image recognition. So I love watching detective movies. And when somebody is being looked for, or somebody is missing, or they're looking for a wanted fugitive, what do? They say they want to do facial recognition. When they are doing the facial recognition, how do you think they do it? It is pixel upon pixel, layer upon layer to get to the person. And those that know how it works, that's why they can distort their look and they still pass through like scanners at the airport. And even though they are scanned and the AI scans them, it won't come out as that person because they understand the algorithm. Because AI is not a human being that will know that, this is Michael Boyo now, he's my friend. Even though he wore a face cap, he put on lipstick, he put on eyebrow, I know he's Michael Boyo now. You really think no matter what I wear or how I transform myself physically, you really think my wife will not recognize me? But AI may not because it's artificial. It's based on data. AI would not have expected that I will be putting on eyebrow, except you now tell AI. And I'll give you an example. There are times that someone has been missing for years. Let's say a 7-year-old boy was kidnapped and missing. And then it has been 25 years from then. And somebody now comes in and they say, let's open that cold case. The question now is, what does John at 25 years ago, what will John look like now? You can train the model to give you what John will look like. But between you and I, does that mean that's what John looks like? Really? It will be a close match as much as the data that is fed into that app or that program. So those layers is what we're now saying. That's where deep learning comes in. And it has been instrumental to recent AI breakthroughs. Neural networks and deep learning are the forefront of modern AI advancements. And let's also look at a little bit of, what this really means. In terms of deep learning, it's called deep because it is utilizing neural networks with multiple layers. And it's used in things like image recognition, like I mentioned. It's used in autonomous vehicles. So when I say autonomous, I'm talking about self-driving vehicles. How do you think that works? Think about it for a minute. And don't think they are not here. They are already here. Right? Self-driving vehicles. How do you think it works? Does anybody want to help? How do you think? Just think about, don't think too much about the correct terminology, but just whatever you can say. Let's look at the example of self-driving vehicle. What are the things that we need to consider?
We need to consider the traffic signs.
Traffic signs. So it needs to, hold on. So that means it needs to be able to understand the definition of colors. When it comes to a traffic point, you should know that when the light is red, it means press the brake and stop. That's training. When it's yellow, prepare to move. When it's green, accelerate, press the gas. That's what you are saying. It needs to be trained. What else? It needs to be able to identify objects, to know that, is it a car that is in front of me? Or is it a human being that is in front of me? Or is it an animal that is in front of me? It needs to be trained to identify objects. It needs to be trained to identify patterns. It needs to stay in its own lane while on the highway. So if a self-driving car is being driven on a highway that doesn't have clear marked lanes, is a limitation for that car, because now it's just going to be confused. It doesn't know whether I'm on the right lane, the left lane, the middle lane. It doesn't know. It becomes an exception. And if that is not handled, you can just move to another lane without understanding that it's actually changing lane. And that's why even you have cars, proper cars, that once you want to move out of your lane, you hear beeping, 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 beeping. Now, the manual way to do that is that on highways, you find out that if you move too much to the curb, there are graded marks that your tire will just zzz. That's the manual way. But with automation, you can build it in that once you are moving from one lane to the other, it beeps. But since you are driving, you know whether it was intentional or maybe you were sleeping and then you were swerving. Right? Again, AI is artificial intelligence. It must be able to read road signs. So again, it must be able to decipher when it sees images, signposts, and all of that. So all this goes into, that's why it's called deep learning, because these are layers and layers of AI that has to be put into that self-driving car. Natural language processing. This is where when we are using ChatGPT, you are able to type. Can you help me write a resume? You are typing. It's natural process language. And then AI comes back and says, oh, yes, I can, if you give me X, Y, Z. And then you say, okay, here you go. And that's natural language processing, NLP. Speech recognition. When you are watching a movie on Netflix and you decide to put on the caption, what do you think is happening? Who do you think is writing what you are reading on screen? Have you ever thought about it? It's speech to text translation. That's deep learning. So you say something and there's programming that will translate the speech to text, and the text is rendered on screen. That's artificial intelligence. Can anybody tell me how many times you've seen it get it wrong? That there's a difference between what was said and what was written. YouTube is a typical example. Why do you think that happens? Again, it's artificial intelligence. Does that make sense? AI breakthroughs. We can't talk about all of them. Advancements in deep learning have led to significant breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, enhancing various applications like computer vision, natural language processing, speech recognition, healthcare, finance, in different areas of technology. If we are able, we get there. At some point, I will just have to stop for today. Now, let's look at very, very common examples of AI in our everyday lives. Very common. We talked about virtual assistants like Siri, Alexa, to help you manage your daily tasks, providing information, reminders, controlling smart devices. You can use in some other areas, you can call them Internet of Things, IoT, to control smart homes, smart devices. You can say, Siri, can you please turn down the lights in the lobby? So Siri is going to transform your speech to text. That text is going to go into somewhere. Again, there's a lot of tech going on there. And then it is like explained, understood, and then acted upon. And then you now see the light dimming down. That's all AI. There's no human being there. If you give it the wrong information or the wrong input, most likely you'll get the wrong output as well. So it's garbage in, garbage out. So it's not really as smart as you think. It's just as smart as it has been built to be smart. Okay? Recommendation systems. We talked about Netflix, Amazon. Why would, on Amazon, you are being recommended to buy certain things? It's because of user behavior. We talked about autonomous vehicles. We talked about smart home devices, social media, customizations, trend analysis based on human behavior. And it's also used to detect harmful behavior. Why is it that at times you just get suspended on social media? It's because of behavior. There's an algorithm. If you are caught doing XYZ that fits that algorithm, and there's no human being sitting down that is suspending your account. It's based on an algorithm. How do you think we have like about 2 billion users on Facebook? You really think Mark Zuckerberg is really interested sitting down in the corner of his room to be asking or wondering who is making an illicit post? Nobody is doing that. There's an algorithm somewhere, right? And that's, those are examples of AI that, we can anyone think about other examples in our everyday life? Nothing super complicated. Other examples of AI. Anyone? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
The sensor doors, are they not AI too?
What do you mean by sensor doors? The doors that just open at the mall?
Yeah, when you approach it, when you approach the door,
I think that's
the
just
thing
electromagnetic. I don't think that's
okay.
AI. In my
Okay.
opinion, I may be wrong. But if it's like it greets you as you come in, then that will have an element of AI.
All right.
Because those have been there even before. Yeah?
What about those ones in the banks?
Like which one? What do they do? Which
Uh,
the
when
banks
you
back at home or in the West? Because the one back at home that we go in and they are scanning something, that's not AI. That's just all electromagnetic. No, that's
no,
not.
there is one First Bank uses these days.
Okay.
Once you come in, it will ask you, "Hello, how may I help you?"
Oh, okay. If
And
that's saying that, then that will
yeah,
have an element of AI.
okay.
Yeah, because once there's a semblance of human intelligence and it's not human, then most
Yeah,
likely it's artificial,
yeah,
right? Because like I said in the beginning, the sole aim of AI is to get to a point where you won't be able to decipher that this response is coming from AI or human intelligence. That's the goal. And that's why at times when you even ask those bots questions, it just takes you to ask them an off-site question and you would know, okay, why is it that when you are being verified online for certain things, they will say, we need to verify that you are not a chatbot. And they will put images and say, check the images that has bicycle in them. Why do you think they are doing that? Because they want to be sure that you are human, not artificial. Because AI, if you don't tell AI that it has training and data to be able to say that this animal is a cat, AI doesn't know that it's a cat. That information needs to be fed into it, that when you see a furry animal that is this size, with this kind of eyes, with 2 ears, 4 legs, with tail, blah, blah, you have, and that's why even if you go to ChatGPT right now and say, can you just give me the image of a cat? I can tell you, especially at least if you are using the free version, the first image you get is not going to be a cat. It might be close to looking like a cat. You now need to give it and say, you know what? I want you to give me an image of a cat. Give the name of the cat. Cat has name. They have breeds. Like dogs, there's Alsatian, there's Shepherd. You become more specific. And then there are even custom GPTs. Like in ChatGPT, there's the DALL-E, DALLE, that is specific for image. When you use that, that has more trained data for image, for text to image translation. So that's why when I say it's narrow AI, it depends on what it has been trained on. That's why it's narrow. It doesn't just know everything. No, nothing knows everything. It just depends on the amount of data that it has to work with, or what you can also call the knowledge base. And that's why you can attach a PDF into ChatGPT and say, based on the content of that PDF. So again, you have made it narrow. It's not even going to go on the internet. You are saying, based on the content of this PDF, can you explain to me XYZ? And it's not going to go beyond that PDF. If the response to your question is not in that PDF, it will say, sorry, I couldn't find a response in the attached document. Full stop. But if you don't put the attached document and you now click internet, or you click search, or you click reason, it does those different things. It goes on the internet to search and then comes back with the information. Again, it's all based on the data that is available to it. Okay, let's keep going here. I think we might be able to get to there. What are common misconceptions about AI? Let's hear from you guys, because it's not like as if I have everything. What do you think are common misconceptions about AI from your perspective? Hello?
For me, people say AI can do everything.
And you don't believe that?
Lie.
AI cannot be the breadwinner in your home, or cannot be the husband to your wife, right?
It's not possible.
You hope not, right?
No.
I watched a movie recently that they were actually selling AI human assistants at home. So this man had a wife who was suffering cancer and was in hospital awaiting surgery. No, I think she had a heart condition. So she was awaiting a heart transplant. And he had like a 7-8-year-old girl, and he felt overwhelmed. And he went to this AI company and actually leased a female human assistant. I mean, that movie was nuts, by the way, because it got to a point that the female AI assistant was actually able to do whatever he was asked to do, even as far as intimate relationship.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was like, I don't know where we are headed.
What?
Right? What? Exactly. Right? So that's why I keep on saying that the ultimate goal for AI is to get to a point where there wouldn't be, we wouldn't be able to differentiate whether this is artificial or human. That is the penultimate goal. Now, how we get there is a whole different kettle of fish, but that is the goal. Now, let's quickly look at them. The AI independence myth. Many believe AI can operate independently, but that's not true. Now, I'm not saying it's not responding independently, but AI needs to be trained. AI cannot just come out of thin air. No, it doesn't happen that way. Now, AI can go rogue. So don't get me wrong. The algorithm might become, as in a virus can attack the algorithm and again do what? Manipulate the algorithm, that if it was meant to be doing things ethically, now is no longer doing it ethically. But again, a human being intervened, right? there's always human intervention, at least up until now, to be able to work and function effectively. Emotions and consciousness. A common misconception is that AI possesses emotion. No, AI is not emotional. And that's why if you tell AI shoot, it will just shoot. Even animals. I heard a story recently about a lady who brought in a baby gorilla, and against all advice, trained that baby gorilla until the baby gorilla became a very big gorilla. You know how, like King Kong. And she was treating that gorilla like, it got to a point whereby it looked like as if they were like man and wife. Until one day, the gorilla strangled her and killed her. So, are we now going to say that, oh, somebody told the gorilla to kill her? No. The gorilla was just being a gorilla. Again, it's not a human being. So it's not using human intelligence, right? There's no emotion, there's no consciousness, nothing, right? That's even animal. Unrealistic expectations. At times, some of us have unrealistic expectations about what AI can achieve. And it affects user experience. And that's why I said the other time, we were reviewing an AI application that was meant for something specific. And we gave it a prompt to do something way off its scope. And it just said, I'm sorry, I cannot give you an answer to that. If you have any question relating to XYZ, I will be able to help you. That's the scope. You are giving the AI app as in unrealistic expectations. Conclusion and future of AI. What are we saying? Rapid advancements in AI. Artificial intelligence is a rapidly advancing field with the potential to reshape industries and daily life. And this is where it now becomes very important in our own careers. The question is, how is AI shaping your career? That's the question you need to be asking now as a career professional. You can't say, oh, I don't know it, I don't understand it, it doesn't worry or bother me. No, you can't do that. Because we have gone, so I saw an ad recently that said, like, say, for example, in the 60s, people said, oh, this internet, it will soon come and go. Internet now is here and is here to stay till, after we are all here. He said the same thing now. Some people are saying, AI is just a facade. It will come and go. And the question was, really? Really? Is that what you think? So, how prepared are you for this advancement? Understanding AI concepts. Again, there's always the question of, would AI replace my job? And I've always said it here, that in some contexts, AI will replace your job. And very good examples are any job that is predominantly repetitive task, like a receptionist, a front desk officer. Because all you are saying is, welcome to MB Consult. How may I help you? Why do we need a human being to say that? You can say Mike, but what about the questions that a prospective client will be asking? Yes, we can train the AI to answer most of those questions, because if it's just a front desk that is basically booking train rides, so the train ride will have schedule. The schedule will come up with the time, the dates, the cost, and all of that. They are all fixed. Even if a human being is there, he's not going to change the price because you are his cousin. No. So those are all fixed data. We can use that data to train an AI program to respond to all those questions. Now, can you ask it a question it wouldn't know? Absolutely, yes. But the question is, why would you be asking for, oh, I want to learn how to swim, when you are calling a train station to book a train ride? So it will tell you, I'm sorry, I cannot answer any swimming related question. Do you want me to help you to book a ride? It will tell you. Because that's what that hotline was meant to do. It's narrow, right? So that's the response to that. Future innovations. What can we expect? To be honest, I don't even know. I don't even know what we can expect because of the way it's evolving. It's just beyond, and we're not even talking about using it now. I didn't want to start going, ChatGPT. No, no, we're just even saying, let's even understand the concept. Like, this is what it's all about. So whether you like it, you don't like it, that's on you. But you can't say you don't know about it. That's also on you. What you do with it is also on you. But you can't feign ignorance and say, I'm just going to live my life like as if it does not exist. You can't do that. And that was the whole essence of this particular webinar. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to give room to comments, questions, feedback. Thank you very much for being here. So if you have something to say, you can quickly. Yeah, Philip, please go ahead.
So I have my own to add. First, I will say thank you. Well done, Michael. Thank you for the well-detailed terminologies, and I think I'm still learning. And
Thank
AI
you.
is huge for everyone to keep learning. And I think in most of the business application, everybody's infusing AI. Even Salesforce has what they call agent AI. Agent AI is important, and people are really looking towards that, which is driven, like you said, especially the operational side, every workflow, it tries to solve that problem. Um, I think we should embrace AI. For
Mm,
me, AI has been edge for me. 100% of my work, I'll say, aside me dealing with clients, I can say 40% is me taking advantage of AI, paying for some huge platforms to make my work faster. I imagine you be on a 6, 7 project, and then you have someone who is technically sound, also sound. Probably I see the gap and it comes and said, how are you turning up this work fast that it can't really cope because he just
mm,
joined our team? So I would endeavor everyone to embrace AI, understand it from the start of the meeting to you writing your user story, business requirement, providing solution, discussing with the AI, trying to come up, prompting your word and making it work. I think that's a top one for me. And clients are impressed to a point you want to write emails. You you are trying to think on how to write it in less than a minute or seconds. You just see the result. The AI is working with you to make sure things are done. So that's my own comment, my view. And I think we should all take that advantage. And like Mike said, we were on the call. We saw an AI trying to address some huge conversation and a specific niche. And I'm like, yeah, but of course, everything can be improved. The AI is taking the world in a surprise way. But I'm not surprised because I watched a video years back. Then a guy, it was a classified kind of information, and it was in a all and all scientist. And I remember watching that video that says it's a classified US information. Then the guy mentioned to everybody in that room that they've created everything that in few years' time it will be launched. I'm not talking of 10 years ago, like 10, 15 years ago. They say in few years' time it will be launched. That they've created kidney, they've created a part of a human, that so they can use that and integrate that. That it will be that chips is going to be so cheap that you just put it as an eye contact in your eye. So when you enter a store and they tell you this thing is $10, when you scan through, so the eye contact is working with your brain to tell you that no, that thing should be $8. That the next shop across the other side is $8. So you can scan and check, and it will tell you. What am I saying? You can see Facebook. You can wear glasses, and you can talk to the glasses. And then you can, if I have someone who is speaking French, and I'm speaking English, it interprets. So it's a whole long level, and that's glasses. I know someday it will be reality, which the guy said they've already invented. Is just to push it out to the world that they can do contact lens, and then what else? So that's the world of AI, and I'll encourage us all to take it more serious, to learn, pay for as many courses, try to reach out. You may feel that it's expensive, but I will endeavor everybody to take advantage of that and explore that opportunity and get to that top space. Thanks. That's my own comment. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Philip. That glasses that you were talking about, I have a friend who has a smart glass. I'm not sure which technology. It's one of all these software shops, maybe Google or whatever, I don't know. But he has a smart glass, and that smart glass doubles as his phone. So because he uses glasses, right? Naturally, he uses, so he now put in something. So from his glasses, he can literally turn on recording and be recording what he's seeing. He can pick his phone calls. He can set reminders. He can, so it's not like a smartwatch that you're wearing on your face. So this is somebody living in my community. He has it. It's not like he's telling me he wants to go and buy it.
Please, Mike, let me just add one more.
Yeah.
It's out there. This one, I don't, maybe you'll have seen it on news or wherever. You wear the glasses. So if I look at you, Michael, and the internet is on, it will scan you, will tell me where you live, your name, everything, information.
Yeah.
So there's no privacy. So you are walking on the road
So,
and somebody's wearing glasses
Yeah.
and he looks at you. As long as, like you said, the facial recognition,
Yeah.
it recognizes you. It goes
Yeah.
to your Facebook directly. It goes to your LinkedIn directly. It tells you where you are working, all the updates you have
Yeah.
on your internet.
So,
The glasses
yeah.
will tell me so I can know you, I will identify you. If you are wanted, you will know that this guy, you're on news. This is who you are. That's how the world has gone.
So the question for you there then is that where do we draw the line when it comes to ethics, to the ethical use of AI?
So that's where I think we've had those kind of discussion where we say AI is broad. It's either you're on the technical side, it's either you're on the ethics side. There will be regulations, there will be certification years to come. There will be some people who specialize in governance. So it will be a whole lot of sectors. So AI is new. The question I'm throwing to everyone, don't be boxed up with the solution you know.
Correct.
Be it Microsoft Dynamics, maybe SAP, maybe because you are a programmer. Don't be boxed up. Try to pick that space that you know you already have and leverage and then run with it, because that will come to play. And a lot of organizations do not know things that if you know, so take for example, if I'm in an organization that's a manufacturing firm, you know the entire flow end to end, people will come and build the entire workflow and they'll build an agent that will solve that problem.
Correct. Absolutely on point. Thank you very much, Philip. And Florence, you want to say something?
Yes, in addition to what he just said, I just want to add that I use AI for my meetings.
Okay.
It will summarize the meeting and all the action points will be separated.
Correct.
So it makes things easier for me in the office when I use AI. And there's times my boss gives me a courier from diplomats.
Yeah.
That he will just pass to me. He doesn't want to know how I get it done. And I will just set it on AI and he brings exactly what I want. And by the time I give it back to him, it's like he wouldn't know. He didn't even know at all that it was AI that did it. He would just make some corrections and then pass it out to the president.
Interesting. Anyway, let's no, thanks for sharing. But there are crazy stuff happening that you can do with, and I didn't want to get, if we get into that space, there are too many tools, right? But I just wanted to keep this very high level. So I should also say that which I forgot to say the last time, you didn't have a session last week. That was deliberate, but I'm sorry I didn't announce that our sessions are now going to be happening every 2 weeks. So predominantly it's going to be the second and the fourth Saturday of every month. That's what we're trying to do is to be coming up with the concept of a master class. So we're going to like take a topic that we feel like, will be of interest for people in the marketplace. And then we just take the time, to discuss about it. And hopefully there will be some learnings out of it. So we're just starting with AI, and there are so many. And if you feel very strong about a particular domain or functional area, reach out to me. If you don't want to put it in the chat, in the WhatsApp group chat, reach out to me personally and let me know. And then we can work towards that. So that it's all about growing. It's not just about what I want to come and talk about. It's what we would like to learn or to know about. And with that said, I want to once again thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedule on a weekend to join me here. And I do appreciate you all. And if again you are not in the community, please join the community, and I will be able to see more of you, and you will see more of me. And I hope that you have a great weekend, and I will see you again in 2 weeks. That will be.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you too. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.